Deep thoughts, shallow host. All right, let's get this thing on the road.
Okay, settle in. Quick question for you. You ever get into a full-blown, red-faced argument with a squirrel about, I don't know, zoning laws? Ever tried to explain the concept of interest rates to a flock of pigeons? No? So that's just me then. Okay. Well, that feeling, you know the one, where 1 minute you're a creature of pure, magnificent reason, and the next you're a complete maniac? That's what we're talking about today. So I was reading this book. Some French lady wrote it. And her whole point is that being a human being is fundamentally, hilariously ridiculous. She calls it ambiguity. See, 1 second, you're splitting the atom. The next, you're trying to push open a door that says pull for 5 straight minutes. You're basically a god trapped in a meat puppet and you can't remember where you parked your car. That's the whole pickle worm. Right, so this lady, Simone, she figures most people just can't handle this big cosmic joke. So they cook up all these insane ways to pretend it's not real. She gives us a whole taxonomy, a whole parade of absolute goofballs and their terrible strategies. And I'm going to walk you through them and tell you why they're all a bunch of silly geese. First up to bat in this parade of head cases is the subman. And no, he's not a guy who makes sandwiches for a living, which would be a far more respectable profession. No, this fella, he's the human equivalent of a damp piece of cardboard. He is so terrified of actually existing, of making a choice, of wanting something, that he just kind of powers down. Total shutdown. But here's the scary part. This guy's total apathy, it makes him dangerous. He's a walking, talking shrug. Because when you don't want anything and you don't love anyone, you got nothing to lose. So when some lunatic with a capital C cause comes along and says, hey, want to go do some light treason? The subman just goes, got nothing else going on. He's the perfect tool for any fanatic's dirty work, because he just doesn't care enough to say no. All right, now let's swing to the complete other side of the asylum. Meet the serious man. If the subman is an empty space, this guy is a black hole of giving a damn about the dumbest possible things. Get a load of this head case. The serious man makes himself the slave of that end. Oh, real profound. Let me translate that for you. This is the guy who's in a cult, but the cult leader is an abstract concept. It's the company, the party, the 5-year plan, the quarterly earnings report. This is the guy who would toss his own kid into a volcano if it would improve the department's key performance indicator. See, he takes something people just made up, like a political party or a corporate mission statement, and he treats it like it's the word of God. He buries his own freedom under this giant, heavy cause so he doesn't have to deal with the terror of making his own choices. The problem is, the cause doesn't care about people, so pretty soon, neither does he. So you see the pattern here, right? It's two sides of the same worthless coin. One guy runs away from freedom by pretending nothing is real. The other guy runs away by pretending only one thing is real, and it's usually something stupid. Both of them are just looking for an excuse to not be a responsible human being. Buzz off, you silly geese. So, what happens when the serious man's precious little cause turns out to be a crock of beans? What happens when his god dies? He doesn't just, take up gardening. No. He becomes our next contestant, the nihilist. A nihilist is just a disappointed serious man. He wanted to be the hero, found out he wasn't, so now he wants to burn the whole stadium down. And that's really all it is. This is the guy who was so sure his cause was everything, the absolute truth. And when the universe didn't agree, he decided to throw the biggest tantrum in history. His logic is, if I can't be everything, then I'll be nothing, and I'm going to take all of you with me. It's the ultimate rage quit. Okay, so we've covered the guys who just give up, the fanatics, and the guys who want to set the world on fire. But there's another bunch. These are the tricky ones. They look like they get it, they seem to embrace freedom, they live for the thrill of it, but they get it all wrong. They get right up to the finish line and then just trip over their own feet. First in this crew, we got the adventurer. Now this guy loves life, all right? He loves the action, the conquest, the big dramatic project. He's all about his own freedom. The problem is, he thinks every other person on the planet is just a non-player character. They're just obstacles or tools in the giant video game of his life. And here's the really messed up part. Because he doesn't actually care about other human beings, he'll end up working for any monster who lets him keep playing his game. Some dictator needs a guy to go conquer a village. The adventurer signs right up. Why? Because it's a fun challenge. He doesn't care about good or evil, he just wants to keep leveling up. And our final contestant, the passionate man. Now this guy, he's the polar opposite of the adventurer. He doesn't love the whole game. No, he picks one single person, or one object, or one single idea, and he makes it his entire world. Everything else just ceases to exist. Listen to that word, possession. This isn't just about loving something a lot. Oh no. This is about wanting to consume it, to absorb it, to basically become the thing he loves. And it's super creepy. It's a totally impossible project, so he just ends up smothering whatever he loves and becomes this miserable, obsessive ghost. You know, this whole serious man business, it makes me think of my cousin Richie. What a head case. Let me tell you a little story. It's a cautionary tale about Richie and a cactus. So Richie, right, he loses his job selling, I don't know, organic dog biscuits, whatever. But is he unemployed? Heavens no. He tells everyone he's a lifestyle curator. I got no idea what that means. He's got no idea what that means, but it sounds important. And for a serious man, that's all that matters. He's found his new cause. So as part of his curating, he buys a cactus for $800. $800. For a plant that's basically a green rock with attitude. And this cactus, it becomes his entire world. He polishes the needles, he sings to it, he reads at the stock market report. His entire being is now dedicated to this one spiky thing. So of course, he kills it. Overwaters it, I think. Drowned the thing. The one single object he staked his entire serious existence on, and he couldn't even keep a cactus alive. So does he admit he messed up? Does he learn a lesson? Puff. Of course not. He's a serious man. He takes the empty pot, puts it on a little stand, and tells everyone it's a minimalist statement on the fleeting nature of biotic forms. He just rebrands his spectacular failure as an even more serious success. That's the whole game right there. All right, so after tearing apart all these goofballs, from the guy who doesn't care at all to my cousin Richie who cares way too much about a dead plant, what's left? What's the actual point? Is there a right way to do this whole being alive thing? Or are we all just screwed? So here it is. And look, I hate to admit it, but the French lady kind of sticks the landing on this one. The big idea is actually pretty simple. You can't be free all by yourself. Your freedom is all tangled up with everybody else's. You're only really free when you want other people to be free too. 'Cause without them, what's the point? It's a team sport, you head cases. So that's the whole shebang. Deal with the fact that life is weird, let other people be weird and free so you get to be weird and free. Or don't. Frankly, I don't care. I'm busy. My neighbor's garden gnome is trying to claim his petunias as dependents on his tax return, and I gotta go explain to him that the IRS doesn't see it that way. He's a very serious man about his azaleas. It's a whole thing. I'm out.